This is Tornado Talk, a weekly podcast about one of nature's most fascinating phenomenons. Share your tornado story online by email or call us toll-free 800-439-1570. That's 800-439-1570. Now, meteorologist Jennifer Naramore and Dan Holliday, Tornado Talk is on.
The blockbuster movie Twister, released in 1996, would have a profound influence on many who loved weather. Those that once thought storm chasing was for nerds now thought it was cool.
Some soon-to-be Twister movie fans were still in the playpen when the film was in theaters. But when they were old enough to watch it on VHS, they became fans. Big fans. So much so, a dream to create a sequel would be born.
Fast forward to 2016. 21-year-old Connor Taylor, who lives in Aberdeenshire, Scotland, was just a baby in 1996. It was the original Twister movie that helped fuel his passion for weather. An idea 5 years ago had him creating a Facebook page called Twister 2 in hopes that it would get Hollywood to make a sequel.
The page amassed more than 5,000 followers. 4 years later, there seemed to be no immediate plans for a Twister 2 to be released. If there was no follow-up to the original, maybe fans could create their own.
I posted on the page saying, "Hi everyone, would you like the idea of us doing a short film or just a pitch video to go on YouTube to try and spur Hollywood on to make a sequel? We think that'd be a cool idea." And the response that we got was incredible. People really liked the idea of us making a small film to help the page, to help promote the page, the message. We want a sequel, just to get it to Hollywood. And very, very quickly, that transferred into becoming an actual fully fledged sequel film. Once that had happened, I thought to myself, I've got this really could work as a film. There's a lot of great ways to take it. There's a lot of great story opportunities. So once I'd sat and had a little think to myself what I thought a sequel could look like, I thought, well, who better to help me than the fans? I mean, they're just as passionate as me and they probably know more about the film than I do. So I posted onto the page, "Hey guys, we've decided we'd like to make a film. Is there anybody here who would like to be a part of that? If so, comment below and we'll add you to the page." And so we got quite a lot of feedback, responses. We got quite a lot of responses for that one.
One of the many who responded was Amy Ebbett. Like Connor, Amy also lives in Scotland, in the city of Glasgow.
I do acting kind of it's like a form of escapism for me. So I kind of just like to escape into it sometimes. So I always follow this page on Facebook, and it's Scottish filmmakers and actors. And one day I saw this post online for Twisters, and I got really excited because my 10-year-old self kind of watching that film, the original, the 1996 original of Twister, I kind of became a little bit excited about it because I was like, oh, I love this film, because when I was younger, disaster films were the scariest thing I ever watched, but they also really intrigued me. So as soon as I saw the poster for it, I was like, I need to be in this film. So I kind of just auditioned and hoped for the best. And then it happened somehow, which I'm really, really passionately excited about. And I feel like the people behind it as well are also very passionate. So I feel very hopeful and very happy to be part of it.
Kari Lindsay, who lives in Oxford, England, was also enamored with the idea of a fan-made sequel movie and then connected with Connor online. Kari, who will act in and produce the film, has always been fascinated with weather.
I've been self-teaching myself meteorology since I was about 7, so a long, long time. My dad brought me the VHS of Twister, and it was on a double bill with Dante's Peak. And yeah, I watched it repeatedly, and I was in a hurricane in 2004. I was staying on International Drive in Orlando, and I was only 11 years old, so it was quite scary at the time, but really, really cool. I remember we ran out of ice, so we had to go over to the main hotel complex, and we walked across the road, and it was raining so hard and the wind was so fast. On one side we were soaking wet, dripping, and on the other side we were bone dry. It was feeling that absolute power of the storm was really powerful to me as an 11-year-old, and it's permeated through and created my passion for storm chasing and broadcasting and movies as well. The movie twist. I studied media in college because my dad got me that video. It opened my eyes to the world of film and the world of cinema, because that movie is very cinematic, and in many ways it's still kind of ahead of its time in the way it portrays weather.
Tyler Hudson lives in Lubbock, Texas, and also saw Connor's Facebook page. Being a storm chaser in Tornado Alley, he too wanted to be part of a movie about tornadoes.
Before I even met Connor, I'm known in the chasing community as a super Twister fan, so I don't think a lot of people are going to be surprised that I'm a part of this project, but I've always wanted a sequel forever, and I know Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt have both talked about it within the past 5 or 6 years. So when I saw the page pop up, I immediately liked it and then became involved in the community. Like Connor said, he posted that status asking for help on a future fan sequel. So I asked him if I can join, and we got along really great talking about the script and throwing around some meteorology terms and learning about the film industry, well, at this point in time. So, yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
Connor Taylor is a co-writer, plans to act in the movie, and will also direct the film. He and the team knew when writing a fan-based sequel, it had to be unique and done right. It's called Twisters, the fan-made motion picture.
Twisters has its own soundtrack. Its plot takes a different approach and will be completely different from what we witnessed in movie theaters over 20 years ago.
What we want to do with Twisters is show the psychological impact that it has on storm chasers, show what it is they do in these situations and how high the stakes are in these situations. We want to convey that to the audience. We don't want it to just be a mindless barrage of blockbuster spectacle. We want this to be very much about the characters, three-dimensional. We want the audience to connect with these characters, to feel what they're feeling and experience what they're experiencing in a story that's, whilst slightly fictitious in the way it's set up, is very much grounded in reality and science. We want to do something different, but ultimately we want to entertain the audience and bring them an absolutely spectacular film, and that's what we hope to do with Twisters.
We're just trying to bring a better understanding of why they do it. And it's a very good character-driven film, instead of it just being about twisters and tornadoes, which generally, like devastation films, they tend to just be about one simple impact and that's it. But our film is deeper than that. It kind of strives on the factor of the actual people who do storm chasing. So
we show the impact. We don't just, oh look, here's a great big destruction scene, let's move on to the next one. We try to bridge that gap with emotion. That's not to say this is a very heartfelt independent movie type thing. It's not. At the end of the day, it's a movie about tornadoes. It's a sequel to Twister. It's very entertaining, very funny. We just want to create our own, we just want to be original in the fact that we bring very realistic characters to this and show the vulnerability in these characters more so than before, and bring back that fear. And one thing that I did actually write that probably I should mention, I wrote this on the casting call for Twisters. Essentially, we want to bring back the fear of tornadoes that was experienced at the beginning of the early 20th century, when warnings pretty much did not exist. You literally just had to run, hide and duck from these things. They're just this big force coming towards you. There's nothing you can do about it, no warning. And I just thought to myself, I want to bring back that fear again. We live in a world where technology runs everything, where everything is sanctioned and operated and mediated. What happens when that all fails? What happens when we're brought back to the brink of our very existence, when all we can do is run? I wanted to bring back that fear. We wanted to bring back that fear. And so that's what Twisters is based around.
Producer Kari Lindsay said it took days of research to determine the best location for filming. Cameras will be rolling in a spot where tornadoes occur more than anywhere else on Earth.
So really what I was looking for was wide, kind of flat landscapes, which you get a lot of in Kansas. That's why it's good for convection. I was looking for long straight roads. There's a scene where I needed some foresty kind of areas for kind of claustrophobic shots. And yeah, I scouted out 5 or 6 locations in eastern Kansas, all within about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive from Kansas City. So we can leave early, go there, film all the coverage we need for the day, come back and, sort out whatever we need to do when we get back. A lot of the shots I was looking for were kind of big in scope to match the shots in the first film, because there was a lot of kind of wide angle lenses, little things with big tornadoes in the shot. And I really wanted to kind of echo that in the landscapes that I was choosing. So that, for example, there's one place I found, I think it was Pomona, Kansas, has a lot of straight roads with like a forest off to the side, and to me it really echoed the first tornado that they chase in the original movie, where you have the shot, the yellow truck races by the camera, and then it pans up, and the choir like rises, and you just have this really wide shot, the tornado like 3 miles southeast, and it's so visually striking that you can't just have kind of a small scale like locale. You need to have a big playground sandbox to film in.
Connor Taylor says lights, camera, and action won't only be heard in Kansas, but for logistical reasons, further east.
Some of it will be shot in Scotland, and the scenes that will be shot in Scotland will be interior scenes, so just, inside houses, inside garages or garages, things like that. So again, Scotland is purely logistical. All the exterior shots will be done in Missouri, as well as the meteorology station scenes, things like that. So Missouri really is the main place. Scotland's just to help us logistically for some interior shots. It won't be used that much. Why did we choose that? I don't know if you guys have heard of the Paxton Mobile. It's a guy called Justin. He purchased a replica Dodge Ram 2500 V10 Magnum from Twister, red, chrome, everything, exact replica. And he then proceeded to build Dorothy, the weather machine, in Twister, which was inspired by Toto, which cost him a lot, but he loves the movie, he loves the car, like myself. I am an absolute car nut. Side quote here, I cannot wait to drive a Dodge Ram, but that's something else entirely. Anyway, he built this Dorothy machine, and he got in touch with us about joining the fan film. I added him, and he said that we could use Dorothy in the movie. Now you have to realise that this thing costs thousands of dollars, and it's an exact replica. It is so cool. It's really cool. The minute he said we could use it, I said, well, where do you live? And he said Missouri. So I said, right, hold on. Google search, images, Missouri. Hey, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, let's film there. He's got Dorothy, so we need to go where Dorothy goes. And it really is. It's an amazing place, amazing location. So yeah, I can't wait to go there. It'll be really good fun. And obviously, I can't wait to drive the Dodge Ram.
With some cast and crew members overseas, having Tyler Hudson as a storm chase consultant in the U.S. helps the team create realistic experiences on camera. He's all too familiar with how storm chases are big and some are a bust.
You can't really tell exactly what the weather's going to do every single day. There's usually at least one component that you were wrong about, whether it be the temperature or the humidity or what the wind speeds are. I mean, that type of stuff just really fascinates me, and especially when it comes to tornadoes where they're extremely unpredictable. I mean, we still don't know anything about them for the most part. We've probably just hit the tip of the iceberg when it comes to tornadoes, and that in itself has always fascinated me, especially with tornado genesis and just tornado structure in general.
Everyone involved clearly understands the importance of details. Unlike the original Twister that was based in Waukeeta, Oklahoma, this film won't be associated with a specific community. Connor Taylor explains why.
I didn't really want to clarify where it was. I like the idea of there being a bit of mystery, because if you say, okay, this scene happens here, and then you think, right, I can't really film this scene I want to, so 20 miles away there's a great location where we can do that. If you think about an audience member, right, if they're watching it and they see, and you say in the movie, right, this scene takes place here, but you filmed another part of that scene 20 miles away, they're going to say, well, that's not there. They're going to question the plausibility of it. So I think it's better just to not really say where it is. Maybe say it's in Missouri and leave it at that. I don't really want to pinpoint exactly what it is. I just like the idea of this big epic road journey, you know, and just beautiful locations, things like that. I just, very seamless, very smooth, don't get bogged down in where exactly things are, where it's set, essentially. I mean, they do name, like they'll say we're going northeast on Highway A, you know, things like that. But other than that, it's quite anonymous.
Creating a movie is no small task, and the group is turning to Kickstarter to help fund the project. Kickstarter is a fundraising website where they hope to bring in enough support to underwrite the film's price tag.
We each did research on various crowdfunding websites, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe. Tyler, I believe, had Teesprings, yeah. So we did a lot of research and ways to gather funds for the film, and we felt that Kickstarter would be the best bet, because we've seen this. If you look on it yourself, there's been such great successes on there, and so that's how we're going to go down. And we've written up our profile, what the movie's about, what we hope to accomplish, why we need the money. We've done a professional photo shoot with the cast and crew, and they've been interviewed on camera, and that will all be going into our video for the Kickstarter campaign. And we feel with the amount of work we've put in, we've got just as good a chance as achieving funding as any of the rest of them. And to put that into perspective, there was a Star Trek fan film funded on Kickstarter recently. The filmmaker was making a 12-minute fan movie for Star Trek, and he wanted $100,000. He ended up getting funded over $600,000 for that film. So there's definitely a big community out there on Kickstarter who, if they like what you're trying to get funded for, they will fund you.
Twisters, the fan-based motion picture, is also the title of the Facebook page, and it's where you can find, fund, and follow everything you need to know about the progress of the film. Production in the Central Plains is in August.
The crew insists on keeping the movie storyline under wraps, but the IMDb page online gives us a hint as to the plot.
20 years ago, scientists achieved the impossible. They collected a full data set from the inside of a monster F5 tornado. Through the application of this data, they were able to create Anethia, an advanced early warning system. With this information, thousands of lives have been saved, and populations have grown comfortably under the watchful eye of their protector. However, while science has become complacent, Mother Nature has continued to evolve.
Meanwhile, it's planning, production, and promoting. The movie posters have already been made, complete with a PG-13 mark. It was Tyler Hudson's good friend Jeffrey Thornton who gave the tornado photo to the cast and crew for use in Twisters.
I was so happy when Tyler sent me that photo, and then I was like, oh wow, this photo's amazing. And then he said, yeah, the guy said you can use it. I'm like, really? Yeah, he said you can use it. It's like, oh my god. So I just played about with it, and then here we are. We've got these amazing posters thanks to this really generous storm chaser. So we're all indebted to that guy. It's an amazing picture he provided us, and it's really helped sell our movie. And I mean, it really has. When I posted those pictures on our pages, the audience interaction skyrocketed. So it certainly struck a chord with the audience.
It echoes the first movie's original poster, I think, where it had the more yellow kind of hue.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
I love that photo. I'm so jealous that you got a poster.
Yeah, my parents are very supportive about the whole process. I came home one day and they had printed off the poster for me and put it up on my wall. But this poster's huge. It takes up the entire space of my wall, so it's really cool to see that when you come home.
Twisters, the fan-made motion picture, is ironically set for release the same day that the original Twister movie arrived in theaters, on May 10th, this time in 2017. It will be available on YouTube, Vimeo, and depending on Kickstarter funding, possibly Amazon. The hours that the cast and crew put into developing the film may seem endless, but they do it all because of their love for weather.
My favorite memory ever I had of my granddad was he used to turn to me and you'd be able to just stand there and he would smell something in the air and he could just tell you instantly when it would rain. And it's just like that picture in my head of my granddad telling me that, and then a couple minutes later it raining. And it's like that intuitiveness, it's like that instinctual nature that you have that you kind of lose with, I feel, with technology. Like you forget to remember that you know when things are going to happen. I know, like Tyler says, that there's an unpredictability about it, but I think that we've just lost that instinctiveness about weather.
We leave you with the audio of the Kickstarter preview of Twisters, the fan-based motion picture.
Fear presents itself to us in various ways. 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 Fear presents It takes many forms and always arrives unannounced. It is the most powerful emotion we possess, related directly to our instinct to survive. A tornado is one of nature's greatest, but simultaneously terrifying spectacles. Its dark abyss consumes everything in its path, leaving nothing but destruction and despair behind. It is power absolutely, and it leaves nothing untouched.
Next on Tornado Talk, an F5 twister slams the community of Oakfield, Wisconsin on July 18th, 1996. Numerous homes and businesses destroyed. Tens of millions of dollars in damage. Storm survivors. Storm analysis. Wild weather in Wisconsin on episode 12 of Tornado Talk.
This has been Tornado Talk, powered by thestormreport.com.